2017 had a lot of video games. Here to talk with me about them live via satellite is Larry Davis and Danny. How you guys
That's
doing?
right. Uh, I'm fine.
I'm okay.
I'm great. Doing great.
High energy here at Destroy All Children.
It's in our name.
Yeah. So in the years past, we've done this list over on our website, which I don't think anybody has gone to in the year 2017. So
No, I haven't.
me either.
Neither have I. Never knew it existed.
Yeah, I literally
Well,
just told Danny about that maybe 3 days ago.
of course. Well, people don't care about that anymore. It's all about video. So that's why you mooks are here.
Exactly. And so instead, we're doing this on the YouTubes this year.
Okay, let's get started. Golden Gizmo for Game of the Year 2017. Here I'm going to paste the list as I read it. Okay, we're going to cut down from this. Final Fantasy 15, The Last Guardian, Resident Evil 7, Yakuza 0, Neo, Night in the Woods, Hollow Knight, Horizon Zero Dawn, Zelda, okay, that's wrong, Breath of the Wild, Nier Automata, Thimbleweed Park, Persona 5, Gundam Versus, Injustice 2, Tekken 7, Splatoon 2, Slime Rancher, Sonic Mania, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Metroid Samus Returns,
It's
Zen-
it's pronounced Sinran Kagura.
Senran Kagura, Peach
Uh-huh.
Beach Splash,
Mm-hmm.
which I did not put here, Picross S, Uncharted The Lost Legacy, Destiny 2, Cuphead, The Long Dark, Star Fox 2, a game which came out in 2017, The Mummy Demastered,
A game which
Middle-earth,
also came out in 2017.
yeah, all of these did. Middle-earth Shadow of War, The Evil Within 2, Super Mario Odyssey, Fire Pro Wrestling World, Wolfenstein 2 The New Colossus, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Insert
Also,
booing noises.
Stop making me edit things, Danny.
Gang Beasts.
Oh, right. Yeah, Gang Beasts came out this year,
Yes,
which is
'cause that just came
It
out.
did.
a game that Danny and I are intimately familiar with. We played
Gang
it a few
Beasts is
times.
cool.
Good.
So
Well,
hey,
let's just take turns saying which of these could be removed from the list.
so
Okay,
I think immediately take Final Fantasy 15 off of that list.
it seems a bit early for that.
I am aware that it's a bit early. I think take it off the list. I liked Final Fantasy 15 for about half of that game, and then when it gets you onto like its linear track towards the end of the game, it becomes miserable to play. Like, I don't know, Danny, if you like actually beat that thing, but there is a long stretch of that end game that is just really tough to get through.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
Okay, I'll remove it.
Like, it's specifically this whole like labyrinth that you're going through trying to save your party members towards the end, and it's just a bunch of really samey hallways, and like your powers are limited. You have like this one crazy move you could do, but like you use it enough and it just starts to become like, oh great, I gotta do this again. And it goes on for like fucking 2-3 hours of just that. It's awful.
Okay, it's off. What else do you want? I did it.
All right. What else am I indiscriminately striking from this
Wait.
list?
Well, no, now it goes to Danny.
Fuck Slime
turn.
Rancher. Take it off.
No.
Slime Rancher is fun. How fucking dare you?
That's right. Collect the plorts.
The truth is, I'm just mad I haven't played Slime Rancher yet.
You can.
Take
Just
off
install it.
Gundam Versus.
What?
Yeah. I look. You will find no.
I played it, and it's not that like meaty of a game.
You will find
If I'm
no
gonna be
bigger a Gundam defender than me, And from what I know of that game, the net coding is like totally fucked. It's borderline unplayable.
I like Gundam versions.
I think the
I
game
liked it too, but I had to look at the big picture.
the game portion, like the actual mechanical portion of that game, is just like any of the other versus games, right?
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like I would think that's fine. It's just that everything I have seen of it personally has been people bitching about the netcode.
Okay, my turn. Remove Sonic Mania.
No,
Seconded.
no, Sonic.
It's just the same. It's just the same thing.
It's really not. And if, like, to a certain degree,
Yes,
being the
it
same
is.
thing is precisely what that thing needed to be, but it goes enough in its own direction that it makes it feel fresh again.
Okay, look, here's the thing. Like I said, I am willing to let it in at number 10, but nothing higher.
That is all I ask for.
The Overwatch of this year.
I think it deserves to stand within the top 10 games of this year. I don't think it maybe even necessarily deserves to get into like the top of the top 10. I'm not saying it's that good, but I'm saying that you at least got to recognize they fucking made a good Sonic game again for the first time in like 20 to almost 25 years. Literally everything between that space of Sonic and Knuckles and now has been like varying degrees of trash, and they finally turned it around and did a good one.
By reusing some old assets and then
None of those assets are like everything that is similar to the old games has been completely redrawn from the ground up.
Even the Sonic sprite.
Yes,
the Sonic sprite is good.
that
All the
that
sprite works fine.
that
It's
game is
fantastic.
very emotive. It's got a lot of energy in it. The game has soul, man.
Would you say it has moxie?
Oh yeah, it might
Because
be.
there's a category for
Look,
that.
I don't think it wins most Moxie either, but I think there's an argument that it should maybe make the list.
Okay. Alright. Well, then I'd say remove Horizon Zero Dawn, a well-made game that I did not care about at all.
I have played it, and story just seems kind of, I don't know. To me, at least, it didn't really grab me. So I'd agree.
Yep. Yeah.
I have not played it. I have no dog in the race.
It's good, but I do not care to play it ever again.
It looks very competent, but it also looks like one of those kind of games that I know I would fall off of it very quickly.
It's so like the open world kind of aspecty of it. It's just like you just hunt shit and like.
Yeah, like fast travel is based on limited resources. Like you have to craft a tent or whatever it was to
Yeah, like a
travel.
bonfire. Like you have to.
Yeah.
Like,
That's weird.
no sleep. You have to grab sleeping bags. Those sleeping bags or whatever.
Yes, that was it.
Oh.
It was weird.
It seems neat. I would love to try it out, but if I
I'll
look,
let you
I
borrow it.
fell off of Breath of the Wild for Christ's sake, so I don't think that I would actually be able to finish Horizon.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
I mean,
that's
I think that was a big part of it was that came out like at the same time or very
Yeah.
close.
It literally
And
is
so-
a week after. It was a week after.
Yeah.
that is even if you released that after Zelda, that would have been a mistake. That really had to have been something that they got out before, and obviously you only have so much control over that.
Yeah.
All right, so it's up to me,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
There are two of them I'm looking at right now that I could just see gone, and I think I'm going with Star Fox 2.
Okay.
It is a fine game. I don't think it's that good or that impressive of a game. I think the most it has going for it is that it's crazy that it came out this year.
Yeah, that's the whole reason it's here.
Yeah, like
Pretty
that.
much.
It had been readily available to play in some form leading up to now.
Yeah. I think there are parts of it that are really cool though. Like
Oh,
the,
yeah,
the
yeah.
weird like XCOM level thing of you have this many hours until missiles hit Corneria or whatever. That stuff was cool.
It's definitely.
Yeah, it's super fun.
I think if that were a game that had never made it out into the wild until now, it might have a better chance of standing against everything else.
Yeah.
I know the DS game Star Fox Command took some things.
A little bit, yeah.
It's not like we haven't seen that.
Command had those like on foot levels though, right?
It did have those like walker levels. Yeah.
All right, Danny, it's up
what
to
was the one? What was the one where you're actually like out on foot with a gun?
Assault. That's in the GameCube.
Okay.
Star Fox Adventures also sounds like that.
No, not Adventures. I know Dinosaur Planet.
Okay. Do you know about Crystal?
Yeah,
Nope.
yeah.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Don't Google image search for those of you at home.
No, please stop.
Or do.
It's too
Look.
late.
My name on here is Inspector Anime, but I'm by no means a policeman. Alright, Danny, it's up to you, and I'm just letting you know right now, if you strike Senran Kagura off this list, you are banned.
No, I'm going with probably thinking probably Zelda. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know, because like Zelda to me wasn't like it was fun,
Well,
but like
here's the thing
after
though. Right now, we're not looking for number one. We're just getting
we're just
things
killing
that
the
definitely aren't
small
top
fry.
10.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think
Okay.
that there's definitely a discussion to be had about Zelda's quality, but
Like
I
again,
also
I don't think it'll be number one, but it might be
yeah.
9.
What about the Cross S? How does that compare with everything?
I think I need to sit you down and have you play a Picross game as well.
I like Picross, but okay.
Disrespectful trying to strike this. No, I agree. It maybe doesn't deserve to be in the.
Well, here's the thing. Normally, I would disagree with you, but this one has a fatal flaw that other Picross games did not, which is that this one has hints that you can't turn off, which I really hate. And it has like a new mode that's interesting, but not being able to turn off hints really annoys me. And so I agree it can be taken off.
Yeah. I haven't played it. It looks like a fine game to me, but similar to Horizon, I think I have no real investment in it.
You don't like Picross because it involves numbers.
Yes, yeah, basically. It confounds me. I don't know where it begins, and I don't know where Picross ends.
It's not that hard.
Oh.
It's like Sudoku.
You say it's not that hard, but I think your barometer is like a normal person's brain, and not mine.
What's 9 times 6?
Please don't do this on a recording. 51. No, 52. No. Shit.
Wow.
Okay.
George's turn is skipped next because he killed himself.
Danny, your turn.
Danny just went. He just struck Picross.
Oh, wait, he went Picross. Oh, Picross, right. I thought that was you because it's a sort of disrespectful
just giving
thing.
him carte blanche to start striking everything off this list.
I'll take off this one next.
It turns out he takes off Metroid Samus Returns?
I missed! Fuck!
No, you have to say it like Wario. I miss.
I missed.
Yes.
It's a pretty good Wario.
That was actually really good.
Yeah.
Oh, my Wario's top notch, but I never use it.
How's your Waluigi?
I don't like. Isn't it just a higher pitched Wario?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm Waluigi.
That's really good.
A really good Waluigi, man. That's
actually
top
extremely
notch.
good.
Okay, no, it's up to you, Larry.
Oh man, I really like how Belnet keeps popping things up. Okay. I am going to remove Destiny 2. I liked it more than the first, but not one of the top 10.
Agree. I agree completely.
I have not played Destiny 2, but everything about Destiny 1 that is unappealing to me still seems to be at the forefront of Destiny 2. Plus,
I played Destiny 2. It's such a pretentious game. It has horrible writing in the beginning that does not grab you at all. Fucking, like, one of the main lines, I just gawked at, like, wow, like, people were paid to make this game.
What was it?
I was just like, I think, like, for a time we strived, and then we didn't. Just like, right. Excuse me?
Tira was thinking you were going to do That Wizard Lives on the Moon, but man, that's so much fucking worse.
And the villain literally says, "We're not so different, you and I."
Yes, he does.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Is this written
And
by
that's
the
when I
Far
stopped.
Cry 3 guy?
Also about everything that came out of the mouth of Nathan Fillion bot was really bad.
They replaced the Dink with Fillion, didn't they?
No, the Dink was replaced by Nolan North, who's your
Oh,
ghost.
the poor
Nathan
man's Nathan
Fillion.
Fillion, some
Nathan
would say.
Fillion's the robot, and he was always in there.
Okay. Yeah,
Probably the only good part.
I don't give a shit about Destiny 2, so yeah, I'm also cool with taking that off the list. I also think that later on we'll discuss some of the stuff with the experience obfuscating, which I think is another reason that it probably does not deserve to be in the top 10.
Okay. Well,
so it's up to
go
me,
ahead.
and I also want to make 2 suggestions for games that maybe should be discussed as part of the list.
Okay.
That I see you have left out. Battlefront 2, and that's a real tenuous one because I can also see a lot of arguments to strike it off. But more importantly, oh god, why am I blanking on the name of it now? Puyo Tetris?
Puyo Tetris.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
couldn't
that's
remember
right.
if it was 1 or
Yeah.
2 Puyos in there.
It did come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, technically, it came. So there was that other category I suggested, and I don't know if we're including it, which was Kazumu Kiryu presents the "Oh shit, they localized this" award,
Yeah.
because I think that's like the game where I was like, oh, that came out a while ago, but it just now got localized this year.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't really know what else would qualify for that.
Yeah, I think we'd have to really sit down and look at stuff, so...
Like, actually, I think Gundam Versus would be one of those.
Yeah.
Because none of the others came out here.
Yeah, I was almost going to say Star Fox 2 for a second. Would have had to have been released in Japan for that to be considered a localization. Anyway, the one that I would take off would be Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Oh, come on.
There's charming stuff that game does, and I was so excited for it, but seeing it in motion just seems like such a bummer.
But, you haven't even played it.
I know. But that's the thing is, I went from really wanting to play to... Okay.
Where they spent so long messing around with optional puzzles.
Okay, fine.
It actually is very good.
Then my other suggestion would be I'm looking at this list. There's a lot of good games that came out this year.
Yeah.
Man. Splatoon 2. It's just Splatoon 1 again, but it's on a different system. And like the story mode is different, I guess, but it's also not different enough.
Like, the thing about like story modes is it shouldn't just be like you just slap 2 on it and just make a different story and have the same multiplayer. So I would agree.
Okay.
I think the most interesting thing Splatoon 2 did was it's like, hey, you can dual wield this new weapon.
There's 2 new weapons.
Oh, wow. Because it's Splatoon 2. 2 weapons for Splatoon 2.
They showcased 2 new weapons when they first announced it, but like there's probably have more, and obviously they have their free DLC thing. Same with ARMS.
They've added like new modes and stuff to it, like very recently.
Should we base the game on the completed product or when it first?
Base it on like the current status.
Yeah,
I would say, because there have been times where we were like, this came out in a pretty rough state, but now it's all right.
Rainbow Six Siege was basically the game that made us start having that discussion.
Well, no, because the first time, like Rainbow Six came out in like December.
But it was so. Imagine if we were having this discussion though about the original version of Rainbow Six, it would be the same thing at the very least. Where like that game launched rough, but now it's very good. I don't know enough about Splatoon 2, like where it's at right now. I just know that when it came out, that thing deflated me so much because I really, really, really want a new Splatoon, but I don't think that it was new enough to justify spending $60 on it and just basically going back into Splatoon 1.
I don't know. I like Splatoon 2 a lot. I play it a lot more than I ever played Splatoon 1.
All right. God, I don't know.
But at the same time, like, I'll go with it.
That's the
because
one
I also don't think it's in top 10.
Yeah, like, I could see you making an argument for it, and then my response to that would be like, okay, well, do you think it's better than like Persona 5 or Tekken 7
No,
or
but
yeah, like
here's
I
the
don't know
thing,
if it
though.
makes the top 10.
You're going for these relatively heavy hitters early on,
Damn
and
straight,
then
thin
we're
the
gonna end
herd.
up with a very weird list.
Okay, then we will save the Splatoon 2 discussion for when we get this list whittled down, and I would
Okay.
instead say I don't want to do this. It's like putting a gun in my child's mouth, but we need to get rid of Senran Kagura.
All right, if you insist.
I'm sorry to be the one to do it. Blow this tittied anime girl's brains across the wall. She's done. It's off the list.
Like Sophie's Choice.
Yeah. You denied
Okay.
me. You denied me 2 games. You forced my hand.
Okay. Gone.
Look, also, how good that game is depends on whether or not you can mod it, so not making the top 10.
It might show up again next year.
Yeah. Oh, no, it will definitely show up next year.
When does it come out?
Just like Kojima, the Senran girls just keep coming. Danny, your turn.
Are you You're proud of that joke?
Fuck no, I'm not.
You pregnant because that joke was labored.
That's a good joke.
Danny, please keep this moving.
I'm gonna have to say Thimbleweed Park.
Now you're just trying to make me angry.
What was Thimbleweed Park?
That is old-timey, like, Maniac Mansion adventure game. It's about, like, so it's like Maniac Mansion, but Twin Peaks, where you're like 2 FBI agents, and you're investigating a murder, but also one of the agents is maybe not an agent, and you play as both of them, and also sometimes you play as a clown, or a girl, and it switches between all of them at different points in the story. It's very good.
It sounds good, but I've just not played it.
Well, too bad.
I have not played it. It sounds interesting, but
So what's your next pick?
Danny, I know what you want to pick, and I think that maybe you should just pick it and incur my wrath now.
Might as well.
I can feel you through the computer eyeballing it.
Persona 5.
What? No, what? I thought you were going to say Puyo Puyo Tetris, you clod.
Persona 5 is not going.
No way. Yeah, Persona 5 is like
I'm not. It's Puyo. It's also, Puyo.
Look at the screenshot. How could you not like this?
That does look pretty good.
Is that X-Files?
Does that game have Moxie?
Kinda.
Does the game have Moxie?
Yes, absolutely.
Which has a redheaded woman, of course, is gonna have Moxie.
Yeah.
That's exactly. Scully.
Yeah, they are pretty much Mulder and Scully.
Puyo Puyo Tetris, though?
Yeah, take that shit off. Take that shit off.
Larry, convene with me.
Hold on a second. Here's another screenshot.
Larry, we're going to lose Puyo because you're too busy posting tumbleweed pictures.
There's a Billy Idol poster and a Max Headroom poster.
God damn it, Larry. This game looks very good.
I'm the one that edits this, so it's not like it's going to disappear.
It's fading away like the picture in Back to the Future because you're not doing your part.
Puyo.
I think Puyo Puyo Tetris is a very good game. I also did not play that much Puyo Puyo Tetris, and I can't quite explain why.
Weird, from what you said, you were like one of the top Puyo Puyo players in the country or something.
I was in the state that we are in, I was within like the top 10 Puyo Tetris players.
Oh.
Yeah.
That doesn't say a lot, to be honest.
There were 10 players?
There were 8, weirdly enough, and I was number 10.
Okay, I can take it.
So my thing with Puyo Puyo Tetris is I think what it has done for me is it has illustrated more my personal divide and taste between Puyo and Tetris, because the parts of that game where I'm playing Tetris, I'm having a really, really good time. And then when Puyo start falling from the sky, I feel bizarrely upset about it. Like I just want to go back to playing Tetris. And I like Puyo, so this game making me feel weirdly down on Puyo because it's placing it in such close proximity to Tetris is weird.
But don't you like when you have the Puyos down and then you slam the Tetris block through them?
Yeah, so then that's like the inverse of it. When they're together on one board, then I'm like back in. But
Oh, okay, I see.
yeah, I don't. If you want to get rid of Puyo Tetris,
No,
I
I
want
would
the
say it
record
could
to
stay for
state that
now.
I think that that's a very good game, but I think it would be okay with comp.
Okay, fine.
Kill it! Get it off that list!
Danny's not with us for much longer. Just give him this.
Okay.
He's been defeated by Puyo so much, he deserves to at least have Puyo blood on his hands once. You happy now,
Okay.
Danny?
Oh, the blood tastes so good.
Oh, wait till it
it's
gets
so
back around to
sweet.
me. I'm gonna see how slime blood tastes. Oh yeah.
I don't think Slime Rancher is going anywhere.
Okay, next game.
Okay.
Aries deep in thought.
I'm gonna take this one off, but it still might be eligible next year because it came out very recently. I just have not played enough of it yet. Xenoblade Chronicles 2,
So
which I like so far, but hard to tell.
okay, I have some words about Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
All right, what's that?
I did not care at all about the first Xenoblade Chronicles. Not even a little bit. Like, nothing about that looked interesting to me. I don't know what the appeal was for other people. So if I understand correctly, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you're capturing very big-breasted anime women to join your team. I'm extremely into Xenoblade now.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's the #1 game of the year.
No,
Leave it on the list.
Well, we'll get to that next year.
Fine. Look. By this time next year, I might have a lot of hours logged into Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Very possible.
Oh yeah. Okay.
There's one part where she is like in a sword crossing thing with a bad guy, and he's like,
oh, yeah.
"What's with that appearance?" And it's like, yeah, no kidding.
Ooh. Okay, what do I want to strike off this? Look, I've not played Slime Rancher. I'm not gonna try striking it again this soon, but I'm just letting you know I'm not super enthusiastic.
Too bad.
Is the Mummy Demastered really that good of a game that you think it makes a top 10, or is it just noteworthy because it's a licensed game that was anything other than pure garbage?
I don't think it's top 10, but it's very good.
Okay.
It is very good.
I mean, I don't disagree. I just think that game is maybe not like crazy impressive. It's impressive for what it is, but I don't think it's like necessarily blowing out of the wall.
I think that if certain things about it were fixed, then it would be one of the top 10 games of the year.
What does it need to be fixed?
The map, for one thing. I really dislike that it doesn't show where doors are.
I found
so it can be hard to tell like how rooms connect.
I found it weird how there were a lot of FMV sequences of Tom Cruise running in that game.
Yeah,
they can maybe do without that.
Yeah.
The pixelated Russell Crowe that talks to you.
Well, no, that's good. Leave that in.
No. Well, yeah,
No.
okay.
Look, I got a patch for Russell Crowe. All right, you.
Also, I had an issue with how the save points don't refill your health, and you get a lot of like extra health packs in it, but the amount of health you get from enemies never goes up. and it'll take a long time of just like running in and out of rooms if you want to refill before a boss or something.
So it
That part to me
sounds
felt very Castlevania. I hate to say this, but like
Yeah.
it's such a mix between Metroid and Castlevania.
It actually
Oh.
really is. Like a lot of the
Oh,
enemies seem
boy.
like Castlevania enemies.
now I'm
Like,
definitely
I'm not
suggesting that we
calling
strike
it
it from the list.
Metroidvania. Fuck that stupid ass
I mean, yeah.
Metroidvania bullshit.
Real quick,
It's a mix between Metroid and
Yeah.
quick check in
That's-
here. We're all against the phrase Metroidvania. How do we feel about SNES?
Ew.
Yeah, I'm.
SNES.
Yeah.
I like the SNES. It's a fun console.
Demote this man.
All right, hold on a second. All right, he's going back down to Spaghetti Fan.
Shit. I'm so sorry, Danny.
Oh, no. I just say it. I just
Okay,
read it.
look,
That's how
yeah.
I read it.
I just saw it disappear. I know the next one that I'm choosing, but Danny, you're up.
Also, I should mention, Mummy will come up again in a future category.
Yeah,
Just so
that
you know.
doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I'd say
No, it
Injustice
might not be the
2.
one you expect. No.
It's the best multiplayer game. What?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really? I actually like Tekken 7 a lot more.
Actually, I agree with that, but George did not play
Tekken 7?
Of course.
No,
Of-
you know, I'm totally fine Tekken 7 making it into the top 10. I know enough about that game to know it's really
Tekken 7 will also be making an appearance in a future category with the Mummy.
best game for Pervisoids. Yeah, absolutely.
No. No.
In Tekken 7, I saw He-Man fight Skeletor, so that's that's a
Fuck.
no-brainer.
Yeah.
The customization stuff in Tekken 7 is very good, but, I mean, not as good as the customization in Fire Pro Wrestling World.
Salient point.
That's a very good point.
Okay. Danny, I'm sorry, what are you wanting to strike off the list?
Injustice 2.
Okay, I can make Harley Quinn look like Tank Girl in that game. And
You can
that
play
Yes,
Swamp Thing.
but
I would say that the feel of Injustice 2 is just so good. Like I've been playing a lot of
really
that game
is.
lately. Then you
it really
can
is. But...
you will soon be able to punch Michelangelo to death with Hellboy.
Yeah. Yeah.
The loot box thing I think drives that game down a little bit for me, but the level of customization that you have with those characters is kind of insane. I thought the story mode was actually really good.
Yep.
It is really good, yeah.
I like Injustice 2 a whole lot.
Let me tell you though, the story of Tekken 7 ends with what is it? Kazuya like fires a laser to shoot down a satellite,
Yeah.
just like from the top of his building.
This all sounds very good, but I think the perspective I'm coming from here is there's a possibility Tekken 7 and Injustice 2 can both make the top 10. And I
Yes.
think striking
That's true.
one or the other right now is premature.
Yeah.
The next game, Daniel.
I haven't played Uncharted: The Lost Legacy a lot. Or
Okay.
at all.
I am extremely burnt out on Uncharted games and have like absolutely zero.
I understand that. Also, I just had to put on here to mention it is the best Uncharted game since 2.
I have been hearing that.
Really?
Yes.
I have been hearing that a bit. After 3 was a bad game, I think.
It is very bad.
Yeah, I would sit down and argue at length with someone about that game not being good. 4 I thought was fine. I was not too into the gameplay, but I thought the story was very good. But by that point, like those two games had just completely drained my enthusiasm for Uncharted out.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. I liked 4, but it was way too long.
Oh, yeah,
Lost
yeah.
Legacy is focused in a way that the other games were not. And I think that goes a long way.
Would you say, looking at it against a lot of these other games that I think we can already feel are maybe going to make the top 10, that you would not want to strike it this early?
I feel like it wouldn't be in the top 10, really. But
I think that mixed with the fact that I haven't played it and Danny's suggesting it's off is quality.
yeah. Yep. Okay. But really, play it if you get a chance, because it is surprisingly good.
I think there will come a point in time where I'm totally down for more. It's just not right now.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, for me, I am going to remove Neo.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't played it.
I've played a bit of it, and while I like it, it does seem that like the difficulty spikes are just kind of insane.
Yeah, it's kind of weird about that. And for me, it was just that I felt like I spent a long time in it and never got anywhere. Like with the Souls games,
Yeah.
like it feels like you're discovering new stuff. And I think the level-based structure of Neo kind of diminishes that in a weird way. Like Demon Souls kind of had that, but you would have these different like paths that then kind of you went to new levels from there. But this one is totally just like load into this area,
Yeah.
and I don't know.
I tell you, everything you're telling me about Neo is kind of bumming me out on it.
I think Neo's all right.
I
Like
think
it's
it's
definitely
worth
way
it for
better than I expected.
it's worth a playthrough. Like
Yeah.
buy it on sale. Boom. That's my rating.
I think that's where I'm about at with it. Is it sounds like one of those things of be waiting for the price to go even lower.
I don't know how low it needs to be then.
As low as it can go, really.
Limbo.
Get low.
Yeah.
Oh,
Little
How
John.
low can you go?
Okay, my suggestion here is Middle Earth Shadow of War.
Why?
Okay,
I
so
haven't played it that much.
I've gotten a fair bit into that thing, and there was a year where Middle Earth was our winner, and it was our winner because the Nemesis system was just so insane and so fresh that we knew it wasn't something that could be done on the previous set of consoles. Like, it was the first thing that really felt like it fit that whole next-gen bill.
Yep.
This does not push the envelope forward enough. It is pretty much just more of the same, and while more of the same is totally fine for a Middle Earth game, it's not wowing me or holding my interest anywhere near as much as the first one did. The game is at times, I think, a bit too overcomplicated.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of shit going on in it, and I don't think that the menus or the way that that game is structured or laid out makes it easy to kind of see all the pieces moving at the same time and know what to necessarily do. And then, like, yeah, you got the loot box stuff. I don't think it's that invasive, but it is definitely just kind of a taint on the whole thing. Like, it's still just, you open up the menu and it's still going like, I don't know, buy some loot boxes, fuckhead.
Yeah.
I appreciate that the loot box orc is rubbing his hands together.
Yeah, he's all like,
Yes, that's really
Give me
good.
your precious coins.
And
Give
we made
me
the
that
we
precious
what are you
coin.
buying?
and we made the point that Battlefront 2's microtransactions would maybe be better if it were Watto rubbing his hands together on the purchase screen.
You want that loot box, eh? Yeah.
I would at that point make a stronger argument for Battlefront 2 being in this list, but
Here's my
it's-
problem though.
Middle Earth is just not doing anything enough for me to make it break the top 10.
My problem is if Sonic Mania is going to be here at 10, I can't envision a list where ostensibly Shadow of War is worse than Sonic Mania.
I think it's worse than Sonic Mania. I think that if Shadow of War
Of
had
course you
come
do.
if Shadow of War
Of
had come
course
out
he does. My
I think
God.
if Shadow of War had come out years and years and years after the first Middle Earth and did the Nemesis thing and nobody else was doing the Nemesis thing again, and it was like, oh shit, that's right, this was incredibly good, then I would maybe put it up there, because at that point it would have been like, oh wow, right, this is a really good game. Not enough time has passed between these Middle Earth games, and not enough has changed between these Middle Earth games to make me suddenly go, this is better than Persona 5, this is better than Injustice 2, this is better than Zelda. Like, it's just not doing enough for me. The game also just looks so
I think
drab
it's better
and
than
brown
Zelda.
and bland, and graphically, like, none of those models look any better than they did the last time around, and it's actually starting to show its age.
I think
Okay,
it's better than Zelda.
I came back from just playing it, and it's better.
You've faded out there at the end.
I came back from playing Shadow of War now. I played it. I just beat
You
it,
beat the whole game.
and I beat the whole game, and it's
Oh,
way
wow.
better than Sonic Mania.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. It's not that it's not that it's a bad game. I just don't think it is. The first Middle Earth had more staying power with me, and this one has not actually managed to get me to invest enough time in it to see it through all the way to the end. I played a decent amount of that game, and then other stuff came out, and it was very easy for me to just drop it and move on to something else.
I
I mean,
forgot to add a game to this list.
if you wanted on there, I got another game that I could suggest striking from the list that I think I maybe have a more solid argument for.
I have another game to add to this list.
What is the game?
Typing.
Oh, cooks are delicious too. Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
I forgot about that until now.
Do you want to hear my other suggestion?
Okay.
I really like Wolfenstein 2. I think its story is incredibly good. I think in 2017 that is maybe the most cathartic game I've played, but the
I'm
mechanical
demoting you.
nature of that game is rough.
See, ban Inspector Anime.
You have complained to me about it too. That game is very poor at communicating with its player. It has some very confusing level design. The difficulty is all over the place, and if we're striking Neo for having horribly unbalanced difficulty, thank you. You know what I look, that game has fucked up my saves where I had to
Yeah, I know.
reinstall that shit to fucking move ahead. Like,
I
there's a
have
lot
not,
of mechanical issues with that game.
I have not finished it because I hit a bug that causes it to freeze every time I finish a certain mission.
I literally cannot finish it. I'm on the last portion of that game, and I watched gameplay videos to find out what to do. I'm on easy. Those giant robots do not take any damage, and I'm dumping full clips of heavy weapons ammo into it, and I eventually just hit a wall because the checkpoint is so far back that it was just like, I'm done. Like, I'm just going to watch the ending on YouTube because I got here. This is the last room. I don't need to see the robots blow up. There's a lot that Wolfenstein 2 does incredibly well, but the actual parts of that game where you're having to figure out where to go, or your save is getting corrupted, or shit is just not loading, like, completely takes me out of it. Like, do you really think story and atmosphere is enough to carry that game into the top 10? Because I don't think the gameplay is. Oh boy, now he's number one. Damn, fuck.
Oi, hi. You faded out. I think something went up with Discord or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So I was saying that, do you think that the story and the atmosphere of that game is enough to carry it into the top 10? Because I would say that
Yes.
the gameplay is not enough. I can see an argument if the argument is, yo, the other parts of this game are insanely good, because they absolutely are, but like, if we're basing this on gameplay more than anything else, then I would say probably not. I think there's better playing games that came out.
I think that is a viable method to determine the best game. There's another entry on here that would have a very similar explanation for why it's the best game.
Now, which game would that be?
Near Automata. The actual game itself,
And
but
see,
everything around it.
with what
so
I know
good.
about Nier, I would maybe feel more strongly about that making the top 10 than I would Wolfenstein.
I feel like both of them are very good.
Then I revert back to Splatoon 2.
Okay.
I think at this point, like, we're having strong arguments for certain games, and none of those
Yeah.
arguments are as strong as, like, Splatoon 2's arguments were nowhere near as strong.
Yeah. In fact, I am going to save some time, and I will also remove Mario and Rabbids
Yeah.
and The Long Dark, because I'm the only person that cares about those.
You also are the only person who
And-
cares about Thimbleweed Park, to point out.
Shut up. And The Evil Within 2, which also I would like to mention, a pretty good game. The Evil Within 1 was horrible. One of the worst I've ever played.
I am genuinely surprised to hear that The Evil Within 2 is really good. Because everything you showed me at that first one, every discussion we had about it made it seem like just the worst.
Oh, the first is so bad.
Yeah. Danny, I think it's up to you.
My turn now?
Yes.
I think so. Me changing nicknames kind of changed the order here.
No, it's still, like, it just moved from me to
I
Danny
guess,
back to you, so we're fine.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Also,
is Gang
please
Beast
change
still
my
there?
name to Inspector Dumbass, though. Like, if you would. If you would be so kind.
Okay.
Thank you. You're a peach. Yeah, Gang Beast is still on the list, although maybe Larry should edit it back into the list proper.
Yeah.
Unless you're saying that we should take Gang Beast off.
I
No.
feel like we should take it
Okay, so
off compared to everything else here.
I think there are maybe 10 games on this list that are better than Gang Beast, but I think Gang Beast has a serious chance of breaking into best multiplayer.
That's true. And perhaps most Moxie.
Yes, so I would agree with Danny that maybe Gang Beast should be off the list.
Okay.
I'm sorry to make you edit it into the list to take it off the list.
It's alright.
Just need to give you
Next.
something to do. Yeah, it's up to you now.
Wait, up to me?
Yeah.
No, okay. Order's all messed up then.
It's
Okay.
it's literally the same order.
Wait, no, it's not. It's not me.
Yeah, it went you, me, Danny, then back to
Oh, okay.
you.
I'm gonna say Last Guardian.
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
I was very excited for it. Shadow of the Colossus is my favorite game of all time. Have not finished this one.
There are some puzzles in it I find to be genuinely unfun, and there is a lot of frame rate issues in it.
Oh, yeah. Even if you have a PS4 Pro, it's still pretty chunky.
That's unfortunate to hear. But yeah, I'm on the regular PS4, and that game is a slideshow at times.
Yep.
So it's a bummer, because I also was really looking forward to that. I also think that's one of those games where, like, you build the hype up for so long over so many years that there's no reasonable way it could ever live up to it.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh boy, it's me. How strongly do you guys feel about Night in the Woods? I've not played it.
I have not played it either.
I like it. I think it could go. I think its strength is more in other areas.
I like the art. The art styles.
Yeah, the art looks good, but that's like all I know about. Then
It's.
along the same lines, how do you feel about Hollow Knight?
I really like Hollow Knight. I
I've
feel like that's something that our Metroid hunter should have an opinion on.
Okay. I'm basically going after games that I have not.
I have not played it.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Well.
Oh shit.
You just don't like Metroid enough.
Well, he hunts the Metroids, Larry, so...
I don't like Metroids, I hunt the Metroid.
But you like the
Obviously.
Metroid games.
How sticky is
I
your
love
Metroid
the
amiibo?
Metroid.
How much lint is on your Metroid amiibo?
There's just too much.
Oh, okay. I'm so
I
sorry.
never got one of those. I wanted it.
Look, you say squishy Metroid amiibo, I'm like, yeah. And you're like, also it's sticky, so like everything gets on it, and I'm like, ugh.
Like,
yeah,
okay.
it's like I thought if I just like left it out, like where like no dust could get into it, just out in the open, make sure everything's clean, it'd be all right. It's like, no, but it's like, it's just still like, oh, there's little hairs there. And it's like, where the hell did this come from?
You gotta do what I'm probably going to do and drive to Vegas and get some of those, like, glass case shelves.
I know, I need to.
That's, anyway.
Airtight.
So we're taking Night in the Woods off. I don't think
Yes.
anybody else feels too strongly about it.
No,
Well, not strongly enough to make the top 10, but probably strongly enough to make another list.
better than Sonic Mania.
I disagree.
But like, if we are comparing just Metroid games, Hollow Knight is a better Metroid than Metroid Samus Returns.
Well, it's Danny's turn
And I like
next,
Samus
so
Returns.
let's watch him target Hollow Knight now.
I like both of them. That's why they're here.
I just never played Hollow Knight to form an opinion on that yet.
Is Hollow Knight the one that you want to pick so we could just have that discussion now?
Like the thing about the discussion is like it has like both parties have to have knowledge of of both things, and like this would be it wouldn't be fun argument.
So here's my thing. Larry, make your case for Hollow Knight. Sell Danny on this game. He understands Metroid terms. Talk to him like it's a Metroid.
Okay.
Like it's
so
Yes.
instead of Samus, you're a little skull beetle dude. And you're in this very dark world, and it's 2D and very well animated. Like there I'm posting like an example GIF. Everything is dark and rainy, and there are bugs. Like everybody is a bug.
Ooh, I don't like bugs.
Well,
already a notch down.
These are
Oh shit! It's off the list.
These are good bugs. But they're dead bugs, I think.
Undead bugs?
Yes. Like, to fast travel, you like get on a giant bug of another type and skitter through tunnels. And there's like this one guy with a cool like long nose who draws maps for you. And you can sit down at benches and just contemplate death. Or, I don't know, Hollow Knight is really good.
A Hollow Knight sounds pretty. The way you're describing it makes me actually want. Whereas if I'm
like,
look, Danny
like,
came to my defense with Sonic Mania. I'm having a hard time here.
Like, I'm gonna have to do the crazy thing and have to take Metroid off.
Oh shit!
Wow,
it's true. I enjoyed Metroid Samus Return. It was fun, but there's a lot of things where they could have really like done a lot better with it. I liked the whole like the Aeon abilities, but at the same time it sort of detracted.
But I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're fading in and out if you could, I don't know if you could fiddle with it.
I'm trying. But
well, if he gets that worked out, I would like to mention that my main problem with Metroid Samus Returns was that all of the Metroid fights are mostly the same. Like, there are a couple of variations on them, but mostly it's the same boss fight however many times, way too many times.
That's true.
Hollow
That's
Knight,
a valid, very, very, very valid complaint.
Yes. I think that's also very indicative of the original Metroid too.
It is. Like, that's kind of the problem with it being an adaptation of the old game. But Hollow Knight, every boss is unique, and they are much more in line with like a Dark Souls boss or something like that.
I much prefer varied like if it was just maybe 10 varied, very distinct bosses versus 40 of the same same old. I would prefer that. The 10 varied, like distinct, very memorable bosses versus just like here's 20 alpha Metroids that you like, one has a laser, one will just swoop down and is invincible for a little bit.
On fire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the way that I feel about the Metroid Samus Returns thing and bear in mind I have not actually got my hands on it, really played it for any length of time, is that like if we're drawing the comparison here to Sonic Mania, which did a similar thing of like, hey, here's this old thing you like again, and also isn't it crazy that this company didn't fucking, well, just hear me out on this, that this company didn't fucking forget and that they actually put out another good one of these. The difference there is I think Samus Returns maybe plays it a little too close to the game that it's remaking, unlike an AM2R, which I think actually does. It's the same thing, but it's doing enough different with it that it becomes interesting again. And I think that, especially playing it close to what Samus Returns was to begin with, is to its detriment, because I think the original Samus Returns was just not that solid of a game.
This GIF you showed of this little pickaxe mining bug really sells me on.
That guy's really cool. He talks to you, and he
Like
tells
that
you
alone.
poems, I think.
That alone, just it's so nice.
The whole game just has a really good look to it.
To quickly go back to Metro, though, I think my point here is I want to argue in favor of Samus Returns, but I think about AM2R and how I would rather make an argument for AM2R, which obviously is not qualified to make the list.
No, because that was last year.
And it's not.
I don't know.
I don't know. I
don't think this is the time or the forum for it, but I think that there's maybe a discussion about whether something like that would qualify. But
yeah, my choice is Metroid Samus Returns.
Okay.
It's a shame.
It's a shame. It hurt me. Like, I'm bleeding right now because of that.
You saw what I had to do to Sinran Kagura, and I let Puyo Tetris go. I argued against Puyo Tetris.
Yeah.
Game of the year is brutal.
It's literally taking the gun to your child's head and saying, I'm sorry.
Like Larry said, Sophie's choice.
It's like the killing of a sacred deer. Seen that movie?
Oh, remember Problem Child? Where she's got like Macaulay Culkin in one hand and that other, and oh god. I'm blanking on his name. The Elijah Wood, yeah. And she's looking at him. And Elijah Wood is AM2R, and she looks over, and it's Samus Returns on 3DS, and she's like, this is going to hurt, but I know I have to do it.
Okay. So, well, I mean, so the killing of the sacred deer, spoilers for this movie. The guy finds out that he has a disease that will kill him unless he kills either his wife or kid, one of the two. And so at the end, he just like blindfolds himself and spins around in a circle shooting. So it's not on him that he chose.
Oh, God. That's pretty good. All right. I think it's up to you, man. Would you be willing to let me nudge you into a conversation about something? Do you feel strongly enough about Battlegrounds making the top 10?
Not really.
Oh, hell no.
It's your choice, but I just want to whisper it in your ear.
Yeah.
It's a horrible early access game that managed to come out with 2 maps.
I would not go so far as to say that it's horrible, but
yeah,
I personally don't think it makes the top 10.
It's janky. It's a lot better now than it was.
That's very charitable. Remember the part where we hit like the little stopper in the road and our car fucking flung into the air like we were playing the Just Cause 2 multiplayer?
Man, remember the Just Cause 2 multiplayer? No, that was good.
Alright, remember that part where we were in the pillbox and those 2 dudes ran in and I just went hog wild with a shotgun? Maybe it should make the top 10. Shit. They added a new map. Game of the year. Game of the year.
Remember that time like you were freaking out in a house because some guy was in there with you, and so I like ran to help you and like killed like 3 guys on the way.
It wasn't that we were in the house. So I had taken all my clothes off before we actually dropped in. This is an important part of the story because I was running around the perimeter of the house naked, screaming because I had no weapon.
Yep.
And I think he had like a machete and he's just fucking chasing me with it.
Yeah, I just found a UMP early and just like took out like 3 guys trying to get to you.
Oh boy. But Battlegrounds has some great stuff going on, and I think there's a good discussion to have about it when we get to multiplayer games.
But yeah, I agree it could be taken off.
Okay.
Top 10 overall.
Look, this part of the okay. I was going to say this part of the deliberation is your choice, because I would end up just going with Battlegrounds when it gets to me. So I don't know. You want to take a turn from me, go ahead. Otherwise, I'll suggest a game.
I was counting how many we had left. This is currently 17.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So, I really hate to do this. We need to talk about Zelda, guys.
Do we?
Do we now?
Here's my thing with Zelda. I appreciate how much it did differently than what is kind of expected from a Zelda game. I think it looks real good. I like the stuff like cooking up meals and things like that. I hate the weapon degradation so much because it is so fast. I know that it gets you to play around with a lot of different stuff, but I just find weapon degradation in games to be really frustrating in general, and it was especially frustrating in this just given how often it happens. I think by going as broad as it did, it lost a lot of what made Zelda work for me, which was that those experiences in a dungeon are very tight and they're very focused, and every tool you have gets used. And in this one, it just felt like, okay, I'm pushing around some balls again to get a heart. Or like I'm in this dungeon, but it's like really, really short to get to the boss. And like I'm not really doing anything all that interesting. Like I
Okay.
think I like the openness of it, but I feel by going so open it lost some of the focus that made Zelda work.
I liked it because it wasn't focused. I like Breath of the Wild because it's you basically can just do whatever you want. Like, oh, I'm gonna explore in this region, the desert. I'm
Sure,
gonna like do this stuff and like experience what like the world.
and and that's not what like I'm getting at. Like I like that. I like the structure of it, and I like the way that you can totally sequence break that game. I'm saying that when you get into actual dungeons, that's the part where it starts to lose me, because it's mostly just those small challenge dungeons, and then you have like 4 proper dungeons, and none of those really felt that good to me.
I did miss the like Ocarina of Time like esque dungeons where, but not the Water Temple, but I did like the other ones where they're very thematic. They're very thematic.
And that is where I'm coming from with it, is that if you had dungeons like that had a very specific theme and a focus and tools that you use to get through them, and then the rest of that game was the same as it was, I would love the shit out of Breath of the Wild. But
to be honest,
where it's losing me is the dungeons.
To be honest, I thought that in Breath of the Wild I would expect some type of like big like thematic dungeons, not part of the beasts, because I knew the beasts were going to be like the actual like main dungeons.
Yeah.
I think also the fact that they gave you everything outright and there's no kind of progression of just I go through this temple.
Sure. I mean, I sort of look at that a little bit like Link Between Worlds. Like Link Between Worlds, I thought was really good because that was also very non-linear, and you were just renting the items you needed. You could find them permanently in the world, but you could just rent them if you wanted to go tackle a dungeon that needed it. But again, that's a game where like those dungeons still felt a lot more like they were very focused. I know it's a word that I'm saying a lot, but like that is my biggest issue with that game, is a lack of focus in areas where I think it really counts. And I don't think the openness in other places. I'm sorry, go on.
In Link Between Worlds, I rented every item at the beginning and then never died the rest of the game, so it didn't matter. I had everything from the beginning anyway.
Yeah, you can totally do that. I feel like I've played at least 10 games this year that I felt kind of coalesced into something better than Zelda. I don't know. It's a tough one, because I'm the dude in the room who's just like, take Zelda off the list, and that's really fucked up.
My problem with Zelda was that the world was too big. It felt like there was a lot of empty space in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see that too.
And it was kind of just there for the sake of them being able to say, "Look how big this is! You see that mountain? You can go there." Like it's
Gotta
Skyrim
walk
or
through a
something.
giant field. Like Skyrim, like here's the thing, like Skyrim, like there wasn't huge amounts of like emptiness. There was emptiness, but like there was stuff you could do in the emptiness. That
Yeah,
you
like
know, like
that and The Witcher, like they would
yes,
fill in those spaces with stuff.
The Witcher 3 for my money is still the best open world game, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My thing with Breath of the Wild is actually something I can kind of liken back to Skyrim. In Skyrim, when you went into a dungeon, it was so damn samey. You were fighting the same skeleton men. It was the same like swinging pendulum axe things from the wall. It was the same like pressure pad garbage. Like every one of those dungeons just felt the same to me. In Breath of the Wild, like those beast dungeons look way too similar, and the ones where you're just like getting a piece of heart, it's damn near the same puzzle in a lot of cases. Like roll the balls around, push these boxes. Like it did that thing of we have a lot of openness, but we don't necessarily have a lot to fill it with.
I thought it was really dumb that the beasts don't actually look different. Like they have the same tile set, like for the wall
Yeah.
textures and stuff.
And that's sort of what I mean about how in past Zelda games each dungeon would really lean into a theme, and you did not get that with
Thematic, I heard.
Yeah. I mean that's my argument for taking Zelda off. I don't think it's a bad game. I just think that
it could have been so much more.
Yeah.
It did what it needed to do, though, right? Like, the thing people complain about were, like, Zelda has become just the same thing every single game. And they're like, okay, fine, fuck your expectations. We're going in a totally different direction with it. It's just, I think in doing
Anuma
so...
was like, nope, we're doing something different now.
I
and
think
it's like, oh, hey.
I think
it's
in
the
their...
Last Jedi of Zelda games.
That's not fair, because I really like The Last Jedi.
Okay.
I like Zelda, too. It's just...
Larry hates Last Jedi?
No,
he likes it quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Last Jedi,
like
game
that
of the
weird,
year.
like somebody spliced in a reel from The Fifth Element into the middle of the movie, which...
Yeah. Hey, look, let's not get into it. We don't want to spoil Last Jedi. Although it was weird how there was a scene in Luke's hut where he was like violently throwing porgs against a wall and saying like, "You gotta stay focused, Ray. Dark side's always."
I'm surprised. I'm surprised with the nudity of this movie too.
Oh yeah, no, she was horrified. Well, Luke wasn't wearing any clothes when he was killing all those porgs.
A lot more breasts than I imagine.
It was like
a
that
lot
scene
more
in
breasts than I
Bronson.
imagine.
Ironically, that movie did have more breasts than I imagined.
Yeah.
That's what's great about that joke.
Oh yeah, no, it
wondered
works
where
on many
that
levels.
blue milk came from.
Yeah. There was a review I watched where they were just like, "Oh, we see how Luke gets the green milk, and it's a callback to the blue milk." And I was like, "I'm shutting this review off. These people have never seen a Star Wars. Also, maybe suffer from color blindness." So are we removing Zelda? Do we feel good about ourselves doing that?
I feel like the crazy like Zelda bandwagon stuff like has passed, and we can like look at it for what it is. Like it's a solid Zelda game.
I would maybe not broach.
I would like it if it was more had more.
I feel like there are 10 better games here.
Yeah, me too. I see where you're coming from, though. I think there was a point in time where if I were to end up making... Like, if that released last month and I were sitting here making this argument, I would feel gross. But I think enough time has passed to really decompress on that thing and look at it critically. Alright.
And
it's up to you, Danny.
I want to go and talk about Sonic Mania again.
Boy.
Okay.
It controls tight. Its physics are picture perfect. The sprite work is beautiful. The music is fantastic. Arguably the best music of the year.
What?
Arguably. I actually don't think I would place it as my number one soundtrack. But I definitely think it deserves to be talked about.
Look,
I like the music, but it's not...
Because we know it's going to be at the bottom. We have to acquiesce to this. Like I said, last year, Overwatch was number 10. That was not because of me.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
wow, I'm
was all
shocked.
him.
And look at you now. Uninstalled that shit already.
Here's the thing that I think is consistent about Overwatch.
How can I trust you, Inspector Dumbass?
Because I'm an inspector. It's right in my name.
But you're also a dumbass, so it also
That's beside
really
the point.
affects.
It's a last name. I can't change it. The state won't let me. Also, it's pronounced Dumas.
Oh, pardon moi.
Damn straight. Anyway, you bitch. Look. All of us felt precisely the same about Overwatch when we first played it. We really, really liked that game. You sat there with a straight face and told me you were going to go pro in Overwatch, despite only getting gold and ranked, which is average at best. We all loved that game, and then over time we saw the cracks, and they kept growing and growing and growing until the ground gave out underneath us, and we uninstalled that shit. At that point in time, I was riding the Overwatch high. Right now, I'm telling you, that was a mistake putting it at number 10.
See, like, it's since then, well, like, since other games, that now I play the game, I let it sit there, and if I go back to it, it's good. If not, I had fun with it. But it wasn't, like, a top thing for me.
I went back and played Sonic Mania 2 days ago, and I intended to only play a couple levels, and I played the whole game again.
I played Slime Rancher just a couple of days ago.
Played Mario Odyssey.
Look, I'm saying Slime Rancher is maybe a game for games for Pervisoids.
No, it's not.
I mean, look, when I think of slimes,
A different kind of slime.
I don't know.
You're disgusting.
What?
You're awful.
What? What did I do? What did I do?
You know.
You know what you fucking
What
did.
I do? Not a court in the land would convict me.
When
Let's go back to Sonic Mania. This game needs to die.
No, Sonic Mania is really good.
But it's so just... I feel it's bland, because it's just the same to me.
See, I disagree. I think that thing has done enough to freshen up what that is. I have gone back and I have played those old ones. I mean, you sat with me and played those old ones. I think it's night and day.
What is new about it? You can charge the dash while you jump.
I mean, what's new about it is it has way more personality. Those levels are designed in a way that is way better. You can actually see the shit that is coming out in front of you. Like,
Yeah,
that
but
was
those
a
are
huge detriment to
improvements
those
to an
old ones.
old game.
Exactly. It improves upon an old game that was a great game.
What was another thing that was improved upon an old game that we just removed from the list?
I don't know. You tell me. I don't think it was Metroid. That's for damn sure. Because AM2R is the Sonic Mania of Metroid.
We literally just removed a game that was just an improvement.
I don't think Zelda made enough. I don't think Zelda made enough of an improvement. I think it dropped the
I honestly think the same thing with
Sonic Mania does.
I honestly think Sonic Mania does not make the same it's the same exact argument for Sonic Mania. It only added a couple of things to make it fresh enough, but it's not fresh enough to be a top 10.
I think the whole problem with Sonic is that they got away from that in the first place. I think by putting that out now, they're bringing that back, and they're saying, like, hey, it's good. We made a good Sonic for the first time in literally over 2 decades. Like, Metroid and Zelda, I don't think Metroid did enough, and I think Zelda dropped components that made Zelda work.
If anything, Metroid and Sonic are in the same boat.
And that is why so to be clear, I'm okay taking it off because I think it is close enough to Metroid. And I felt genuinely bad not making an argument for Metroid because I see some of the similarity there. I do think, though, Sonic Mania does a whole lot more than Samus Returns does. Like, I think AM2R is pretty much the equivalent of Sonic Mania if we're really getting into that. But AM2R doesn't get to... AM2R is not on the list, so whatever.
What does it do more?
Saying Sonic Mania adds things. What does it add?
Those bosses are completely different. Like, it's not just jump on it 8 times. It's not, like, as rote of puzzles as Sonic CD was.
Is that it?
No, I mean... If you want to take it off the list, take it off the list, because it's me versus 2 of you, and it's not going to end up on the list. But if I'm being honest, I think both of you are just dour on Sonic in general. I think that is a genuinely good game, but I'm not going to make any progress with you.
I grew up with Sonic. I grew up with Sonic, but I can see past the rose tinted glasses that
Yes.
it's a
I
fine
mean,
game,
I
but it's
can
not.
do the same with Metroid.
You
No,
never
see,
played a
that's
fucking Metroid game.
I know enough of Metroid to know. I sat there and
I
watched you play all of them.
I killed off Samus Returns here
I
because I
understand,
knew it's not good enough.
that is why I'm not going to continue arguing Sonic Mania. If you're willing to chop off that limb, I will chop off mine.
tell you
But
what. I will remove Cook Serve Delicious 2 if we can remove Sonic Mania.
I've never
Okay.
played Cook Serve Delicious 2,
Cook
and I
Serve
feel like there's a
Delicious.
better cooking game.
I don't agree with that. I think Cook Serve Delicious is very good. Look, if we're getting into like, do games do
Have you
just
heard of Battle Chef Brigade?
Yes.
Yeah, that is definitely not a better game than Cook Serve Delicious.
No.
It's such a fun game. How dare you?
No.
It looks like Giant. I think Jeff Gerstmann made this argument, and it's the perfect
Yes.
way to surmise it for me that game looks like a fake game that you would see in a TV show.
Like the really low frame rate on the animations just looks really bad to me, and
The puzzle element
gems.
seems so half baked and uninteresting to me. Half baked,
Like-
get it? Haha, cooking games.
How dare you?
there are things about it that I like. Like I kind of like the characters and the general idea of it, but actually playing it.
I think
Yeah.
that's what sold me on it. Was just the idea and like having a good idea for me. Like,
Then
Cook-
let me tell you about Cook Serve Delicious,
all right,
where
sell me some food.
okay, so you get these recipes. People come in. They're like, "Hey, I want a hamburger," and so then you have to like, if they want a triple hamburger, you like press P 3 times, and then you hit enter, and then you go to another thing while that's cooking. And then once it's cooked, you hit it again, and then you have to look and see what they want on the hamburger, and then you press the keys that correspond to that, and you're doing all this stuff super fast, and things get hectic quick.
You also have to do stuff like clean out the trash, wash the dishes, set rat
Stomp
traps,
on
things
roaches.
yeah.
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 And
Cook
all
Serve,
this stuff just keeps piling up.
it is an intense game. So, like, look, Cook
Do
Serve
not play it with a
Delicious.
controller.
Well,
No, do not. Because,
eh.
well, look, because
I
if
agree.
if
I'm
you
just
use a
joking around.
keyboard, you can just you can at least intuit generally what the key will be.
Yeah.
So you don't have to actually look at like press B on a controller to add onions or something. Like you would just hit O.
Yeah, I'm just joking about it. Don't use it. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's another game that is, if that's what we're boiling it down to, is does it do enough to differentiate itself? Take Sonic Mania off, take Samus Returns off, take Middle Earth off, take Cook Serve Delicious off. Because none of those games deserve to be on there under that pretense.
Cook Serve Delicious does. It
It
added
doesn't.
Yes, it added the holding station stuff, which lets you prepare stuff ahead of time. It lets you customize your menus. It has a very long campaign where you play
Oh, right, the tower thing I
different
completely
restaurants.
forgot about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which all have their own menu. It has the thing that lets you customize your restaurant to make it look like a total
That's right,
nightmare.
I forgot about that too.
There's a lot new in it.
Can you
It
yell,
also
I have come up with a new recipe?
Huh?
Can you yell out, I have come up with a new recipe?
Sure.
They won't put Brundle sandwiches in that game, so already dead to me.
Brundle sandwiches.
That's because nobody would buy it.
Look, then at the very least, I do say we take Shadow of War off, because again, that is, if we're getting back into that of does it do enough to iterate, I don't think Shadow of War does enough.
In Cook Serve Delicious too, sometimes people come into your restaurant and order cereal.
So you were ready to strike it off, but part of why I wanted to get into a discussion about it is I actually don't think that maybe it is right now.
What, Cook Serve Delicious?
I really like the first Cook Serve Delicious, and if Cook Serve Delicious 2 were just more of that game, I think it would actually be. But you're right, as you explained it, it does do more things, so...
Oh, so you're saying keep it?
I'm saying I'm saying if you want to strike something off for the same reason you would strike Mania off of not doing enough, then I would not say target Cook Serve Delicious. I would say Middle Earth.
Okay. Both of them. Done.
Now this is looking like a fine list.
It is.
I don't know. Slime Rancher is still on. And Thimbleweed Park.
This is 14.
Ugh.
Thimbleweed Park.
How much does Yakuza 0 really do? Because, look.
What?
We each have our game. Danny has Metroid, I have Sonic. I feel you're the Yakuza guy. Where you're the only one who really plays it, and you latch onto it really hard.
Oh, I love it.
But I still look at those games, and they don't look all that different from 3 to me. 3 was a good game, to be fair.
Okay.
I mean,
so,
I'm just saying actually sell me on it, because...
If you want to know what it does differently from previous ones, then actually this one changes more than any of the others have.
I'm just saying walk me through Yakuza 0 a little, because it's something that I'm on the fence about. Because I like Yakuza 3.
Different fighting styles each, with skill trees unique to all of them, which also function differently than they did before. It's you upgrade them with money now instead of skill points. The money you get by managing businesses, which you didn't do in any of the previous ones.
Oh, that's right. You can make a duck run a bowling alley or something.
Yep, you can.
All right, shit. It's in the top 10. Fuck it. It's in there.
Yeah, Kazuma Kiryu has the real estate thing, and Majima has the cabaret club.
He would.
And yeah, he does. He's a good manager. Has his eye patch. And just the story of it is very good, and the combat is a lot better than any of the previous games. So
I don't know. I just have not played Yakuza. I've not played a Yakuza since 3.
0 would be the one to play, actually. You should. I believe it is on sale on PSN right now. I think. I did not include Yakuza Kiwami because I have not played it.
So, I'm sorry, this is 14 games right now, right?
Yes.
And who is it? I think Danny was the last.
30 right now on PSN.
Chose to kill off Sonic.
And then Larry chose Cook Serve Delicious too until I talked him down for some reason.
Yeah. But I took off Shadow of War.
Yeah. Do you still want to just knock Cook Serve Delicious 2 off of there? Do you feel that that is in the top 10? Because my main hang-up was that I don't think you should strike that before you strike... Middle Earth was the other game I was looking at on there going I really think that should be the next one to go. On the principle of it, basically.
I mean, I would take Resident Evil 7 off first. But, I don't like the spook 'em ups.
Resident Evil 7 is really good, though.
So yeah, that's what I need you to tell me if it's better than all of these others. Because what I've seen did look actually pretty good, but I don't really have much interest in playing it.
I have seen...
You faded out. I have no idea what he just said.
He's saying he's seen things you wouldn't believe.
Oh.
I've seen things, man, you wouldn't believe.
Something
okay.
Gate.
What if you...
I've seen Resident Evil 7 playthroughs. I've seen yours. I've seen other people's, but I don't really have an interest in playing it because, like Larry, I have no interest in spook 'em ups.
Okay, what if I told you there was a Resident Evil game that was divorced from all the hokey bullshit that has dragged down every single Resident Evil since the first one? There's no, it's a son of Wesker. It's no, oh, the BSAA is going against the Umbrella and bioweapons everywhere. Like, what if
Are
this
you
game were more, there's a crazy ass family in the woods and, like, they found a monster and it's corrupting them and it's this very tight experience of just trying to get the fuck out of Dodge.
all that dumb stuff was kind of what I liked about Resident Evil.
It comes back towards the end of the game, but the first part of that game is largely divorced from it.
Mm,
Like, you can tell something's very wrong, but if you, the first maybe 3/4 of that game, it could very much not be a Resident Evil outside of, like, oh, it has herbs and stuff like that. I'm using basically a typewriter to save my game. It's when you get to the last two sections, which is a crashed ship that was carrying the bioweapon that started everything, and the underground, like the salt mines after that, that starts tying back into, like, okay, corporation made a thing that they lost and it got out into the swamp and it infected this, and it starts tying it, like, back into the Resident Evil universe. But for the most part, that game distanced itself from the kind of corny nature of Resident Evil up to now,
okay.
which I kind of like. Like, look, I like Barry showing up in Revelations 2 and you play half that game as him. I like anytime I get to fuck around with Jill Valentine or Wesker's doing crazy shit, but, like, that game needed to get away from that for a little while and just sort of explore a new direction for that series to go in. Like, I think if it bound itself too closely to those things, it might have suffered from it.
Well, I just embedded a very important video.
Oh no, it's just Kazuma holding a whole bunch of money.
It's alright.
Imagine
This is
how
what
many
happens
Resident
when you
Evils you
buy a
could buy with
property.
that.
I highly recommend you watch.
The gameplay itself, it does the whole PT thing insofar as it is a first person perspective, and you're wandering through a home, but it's not doing the PT thing of, like, here's these really, really, really obtuse puzzles that just are no fun at all. You're not wandering through the same hall a billion times. Um, the puzzles are basically the kind of, like, and this won't sound like much of a selling point, but the very elementary grade puzzles that you would find in one of the earlier Resident Evil games. Of, like,
You'll
I need to
find-
find 3 Cerberus heads to put in this door.
Wait, 3 what heads?
Cerberus. Cerberus.
Okay.
Cerberus.
Subarus.
Hi, I'm Rich Evans for DestroyAllChildren.com. Like, so I guess that's the sort of thing is it's not steeped in the canonical corniness of Resident Evil, but it's very much steeped in the kind of, like, boy, this puzzle's fucking dumb. Why would this family have this weird contraption to lock off this room? Kind of crap. And, like, they somewhat try to explain that with, like, their son is, like, a jigsaw level savant that has been, like, killing people for years with crazy contraptions. And so he's got these really bizarre, like, I have to shine a silhouette with these 2 pieces of a puzzle that I combined to open up a hidden passage, to crawl behind a wall, to get around a pit, to go to the next room. Like, it still has that stuff in it that is just, like, if you sit down and deconstruct it, you're like, this is dumb as hell. This is really stupid. But, like, it's stupid in a good way. Like, stupid in a way I can totally get into.
Okay. That was a lot of talking.
Resident Evil 7 is... You're free to stop me at any time. Resident Evil 7 is a very good game.
It's what?
A very good
What?
game. I think
Oh.
that is, without a doubt, that is the most solid Resident Evil that they have put out in years, outside of just re-releasing 1 and 0.
Yeah.
Which, I know that's not saying much, but I also think it is one of the best, like, AAA big name horror games to come out in a very long time, too.
Okay.
I think it's good.
Okay. Then how about we say that is number 10? We only have 14 here.
If we need to get rid of something... Ah, you just erased it from the list. What are you trying to do?
Back in. Just the first one.
The greatest Resident Evil monster was Larry the entire time.
Oh, okay, there.
If we gotta remove something from the list, like, if I'm just looking at stuff that, like, I have not had a chance to get my hands on and really sit down and get an impression of, that also, like, I couldn't just sort of glean an impression from having a familiarity with it to begin with, it would be Thimbleweed Park, Slime Rancher, unfortunately, and Fire Pro Wrestling. Even though you have showed me the shit that people get up to in the workshop with that, and it is really good.
Well, I'm going to put it here too, just so Danny can see. Danny, this is what is possible in Fire Pro Wrestling World.
Oh,
How good? So how good is Fire Pro Wrestling as an actual wrestling game versus something that just has a real good dumb style to it?
I mean, it is good. Like, it's timing based. It is more based on the actual rhythm of the match.
What about the rhythm of the night?
Well, the rhythm's gonna get you.
Oh no.
Um,
They say if you don't have rhythm, you won't attract the worm.
that's what they say.
Sorry, this is the whole podcast now. Sorry, Danny.
yeah.
But yes, it's snappier. The sprites, it just feels a lot more responsive than like the modern WWE games. It's just like actually more fun to play. Like, not gonna lie, a lot of the fun is just setting up AI matches between these weird created wrestlers and seeing who wins. But it is actually very fun just to play.
Aren't these based on like an old series of games?
Yes.
How much different
It's been around
does
a
it?
very long time.
How different is it? Or is it just they brought that back again and it's really good?
This one, I believe, is based on the Dreamcast one.
My point still stands, though. How much of it is just that wrestling games were shit for a long time, and they went back and they did an old thing, and the old thing's really good again, and now we're all reminded of a better era.
In Sonic Mania, no one has modded it to put Char's Zagok as a character.
But they have modded it so every sprite is replaced with some part of Knuckles' body.
Yeah, that's not as good.
I'm saying you could modify it to put Char Zagok in Sonic Mania if you really wanted to do the legwork. You can mod Sonic Mania in really dumb ways. It is not as easy, to be fair, as modding Fire Pro Wrestling. Because like they don't have a workshop for it, but
yeah, this thing's just built in. It's just like you go to the workshop, you download whatever you want. Once you get in there, it's a little weird. Like you have to set them into rosters before they're selectable, but it's just in there. You can have Ernest.
I'm not doubting it's a good game, but I am just saying it sounds like a similar thing of just
okay, by the same logic of Sonic Mania.
Yeah.
Okay.
We all had to hurt ourselves today, Larry.
Yeah. To see if we still feel.
2017 was a very good year for games, which also means that this is a very painful podcast for us.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So we're down to, I think it's 12 now?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, 12 because Resident Evil 7 makes the list. Danny, is there anything that you're seeing that you're just like, no?
I
Well,
have to remove 2.
like I said, like Thimbleweed, like you said, Thimbleweed Park. I've never played. I hate to say maybe Slime Rancher, but I've never played Cook Serve Delicious 2. But it's like it's 2 against 1 or that one. Fuck.
I think I would argue more for Cook Serve Delicious 2 than I would Slime Ranch. But that is also, again, I don't have much familiarity with Slime Ranch.
I do, and it's a fantastically fun game.
Isn't that just the thing? You're putting slimes in a fucking pit.
No.
I watched them play it on Unprofessional Fridays once, and it looked like a cell phone game to me. And I don't know if that's just a case of that was a bad showing of that game.
I think so.
Okay.
Okay, so look, you get the slimes, you put them in the pins. You can upgrade the pins, but to upgrade them, you need money. To get the money, you get the plorts, which are these basically slime poops. You have to feed the slimes, you have to get them different stuff. They only eat certain things. Like a pink slime will eat anything, but like a blue slime only eats meat, so you would have to go, you like suck up a bunch of chickens into your gravity gun or whatever, and then shoot the chickens into the pen, and then they eat the chickens, and they give you the gems that you can go sell. Then you can upgrade the pens and make them bigger and whatever, and you can start farms, which basically you would use to grow either fruits or vegetables to feed to the slimes that only eat fruits or vegetables. Every slime has their own favorite thing that will give you extra gems if they eat it. And there are a ton of varieties of slimes. Also, slimes can eat each other. And if they do, then they will like fuse into a combination of the two. And sometimes, if the combinations aren't right, they will turn to a tar thing that will then eat everything.
Is this how Puyos are born?
Yeah, basically. I mean,
Yep.
they are very Puyo looking.
Well, Danny, I think maybe I just gave you a reason to strike it. Puyos are back.
No.
Your greatest nemesis returns.
I realize now this is the prequel to Puyo. Okay, we gotta kill it.
I honestly, everything that you would describe, I unfortunately don't think that I sound in.
Like,
That sounds like the kind of stuff. I was having visions of
against all like to put it against all of this. You know what I mean? You got Yakuza, Hollow Knight, Nier, Persona 5, Injustice 2, Tekken 7.
You skipped one.
Well, yeah, but like I think that's I don't know, indicative to the list right now.
I would rather remove Wolfenstein.
Really?
So that is the way I feel about Wolfenstein is either it is not on the list or Wolfenstein is in fact number 10. And then Resident Evil 7 I think would be better put as a 9. I think Resident Evil 7 is a better game to play.
We did make the argument too that like if it didn't really do as much like from the sequel, from the prequel, from its predecessor.
I
Like,
played Wolfenstein. So what are you saying that about 7 or 2?
About 2. The 7 is completely different than the other Resident Evil.
I think so. The thing with a game like Wolfenstein 2 is more about like, does it really go places? Because when you're talking about a first-person shooter game like that, I think that there's only so much you. I don't know. I have a tough time with Wolfenstein 2 because I both really, really, really like it and I feel strongly about it in a positive way, but then the things that I fault the game for, I also feel very strongly about in a negative way.
I actually feel like
but that's technical issues.
Wolfenstein 2 actually does sort of subvert your expectations in a lot of ways, specifically with like how busted up BJ is at the beginning, and so he mostly just has armor instead of health until he gets his new body. Spoilers.
Yeah.
And then like you can get the weird like long legs and whatever.
So we're going to go into full spoilers with this because I feel like I want to describe this part of the game to Danny because correct me if I'm wrong, you've not played it, right?
I have not played it.
Here's why I like Wolfenstein 2 so much. You get captured after having killed your own super racist father in your childhood home, which is then being sucked up into the air as if caught in a tractor beam by a UFO. And you're fighting on this.
To it.
I know, I'm just saying, like, to paint a quick picture, it's like getting sucked up in the air. And it's like crumbling apart, and you're fighting on, like, your house is being ripped to shreds as you're fighting dudes. Ultimately, you get captured and decapitated on the Washington Monument, I believe. And as your head falls, it gets picked up by a drone before it goes into an incinerator, placed in a glass jar. You then blink 1, 2, or 3 times for an augmentation to your body, which is like stilt legs that let you get up into high places, a battering ram thing that lets you burst through certain doors, and I forget what the last one was. You remember?
It lets you like crawl through vents.
Then that's why I forgot, because who cares about that one? But you blink for your thing, and then they attach your head onto the body of a genetically enhanced super soldier body, so suddenly you're like 20 years younger again. And PJ just feels fucking great, and he's ready to kill Nazis. It's just like, shit, dude, we found out that Hitler is on Venus, and we can go get Hitler. And they're like, how do we get there? Well, they're casting for actors to play you, BJ Blazkowicz, in their movie, and auditions are taking place on Venus. So we knock the guy out who's auditioning to be you, and we put a fake mustache on you, and we send you to Venus. And then you go there, and Hitler is pissing all over the floor and like shooting actors he doesn't like. And then there's a bit where like you go in to do your audition, and if you want, you can just go over and kick Hitler to death. There's a script, like the script he's reading just makes him sound like comically evil, like, I just killed Germany's future and now I'm going to rape you.
That does sound great.
And then like you shoot your way off of motherfucking planet Venus. Like that game really, really, really goes places. Like it does some crazy, crazy shit. The problem is just when you start getting into some of the like mechanical deficiencies in that game. Like in the first Wolfenstein, trying to pick up health and armor packs was a real crapshoot. Like it just wouldn't always register. And now you can walk over them to pick them up, but it still has the same problem with registration. So like just as much as you tried to pick it up in the first game, now you're trying to pick it up and also walk over it, and it won't work. It's sometimes hard to tell where you got shot from or what killed you. You die frequently. I actually had to pop that thing onto easy because there were points, not where it was like so much hard, but just I couldn't see what was killing me and needed to have like more of a buffer to not die.
It gives you like no feedback. Like
yeah,
the sound you make when you get hit is very low, and there isn't much of an indication about like what direction it's coming from.
definitely,
A lot of times,
yeah.
like you'll be missing like 70% of your health before you even know that anyone was shooting at you.
Like a lot of games would have the sides of your screen get really bloody and stuff, and that way you're not having to watch the bar at the bottom. This game doesn't do anything like that. You have to watch the bar at the bottom.
Yeah.
There was a part at the start of the game where I died over 10 times just running into a room. I had no idea what was killing me, so I couldn't like compensate, and I just kept dying over and over again. And then one time it just worked, and like I still have no idea what killed me.
Yep.
There was issues like we brought up where I would try to exit a level and the game would crash.
Yep.
And then it was like 1,000 yards staring at my screen going like, that's the only save I have.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what if we put that at 10?
That's where I think maybe it should go, because like the high points of that game are so damn high, and the low points really do take you out of it. There's that bit where you're in like Area 52 and there's like two Nazis talking. They're like, I don't know why people are mean to us. Nazis are people too. And then you could go stab them in the balls.
Yeah.
Wolfenstein 2 is great! But it's also kind of bad. It's bad in ways that are hard to excuse. It's good in ways that maybe elevate it past its low point. It's difficult for me to...
Yeah. It's getting late. We need to wrap this up.
Okay. Alrighty.
At least for this segment, we could do the rest.
Okay, let's chop something else off. Get out of here, Super Mario Odyssey. Bye.
What? No.
What?
Don't be so disrespectful, Mario.
You know just as well as I do that game is fucking great.
I throw Mario into the dragon's mouth. Bye-bye, Mario.
Here's
Bye-bye,
my
Mario.
problem with
He's dead
Mario
now.
Odyssey.
What is it?
You don't ride Yoshi anymore, you possess him.
It's capture?
Look, sometimes
It's capture.
Sometimes you just
Possess.
want to be a Yoshi, man.
It
To be
makes
honest-
it a little bit easier to run the Yoshi off a cliff and then jump out. But
It's true.
I don't like the Yoshi with the Mario mustache and hat on it.
I have only one real gripe with Mario Odyssey. I think so. With each of these games this year, and this is another thing that I hate to keep going like, oh, Giant Bomb said this, but they've been saying a lot of things that I've been agreeing with when looking at the year as a whole, which is that a lot of the games this year are really good, but they each have like one major thing with them that's just fucked. Mario Odyssey is maybe the least that. Like, it's maybe the closest I think I've played this year to a game that's just all around really good. The only section that does bother me is that like beach level. I think sucks. It's just more Mario Sunshine at that point. Like, hey, remember the shitty hovering thing with Flood? You do that again, asshole.
It wasn't that bad. Shut up.
It
I
wasn't.
hated it. That whole level sucked. But
Maybe,
but
who hurt you? Who hurt you? when
Mario
playing?
Sunshine hurt me. It was all Mario. I hated Mario Sunshine so much, I did not play either of the Galaxy games. It completely sold me off of the Collectathon Marios. I was really
Wow.
on the fence about Odyssey until I actually sat down and played it. I hate Mario Sunshine a lot. But that said, the Mario Sunshine-esque things are in one part of the game, and the rest of that game is really good.
I really like at the end where you possess Bowser and just smash through everything.
Great.
What I'm getting at is I think Mario Odyssey is maybe in the top 3 for me.
Okay.
Top 3?
I would agree with that.
I really like Mario Odyssey. It's a damn good game.
Yes, it is.
I can agree with top 3.
I'm sorry to offend you. I don't like Mario Sunshine.
I swear to God, though, if any of you it's just gonna be odd because the only games I really like in this list are Odyssey, Hollow Knight, just because I'm sold on it now.
Okay.
Near, I literally just bought it. What else? Injustice 2, I really like Injustice
2. Yeah, Injustice 2 is
Tekken
great.
7, Tekken 7, I really like. Cuphead is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And then Resident Evil 7, I'm okay with, and Wolfenstein 2. That's a game I want to play, but I've never had a chance to go get it because I do this because I really want to play Wolfenstein 1 first before playing 2.
You should.
You should. I would also say that Wolfenstein 1 suffers from a lot of the same issues as 2, and is maybe... I mean, I definitely did not like Wolfenstein 1 as...
But can I say,
obviously,
if Mario Odyssey is in top 3, I would kind of say Cuphead should be in And it's a damn good game. It's a damn good game. The art style alone is super great.
It is, but that has its own category.
That next to final boss is maybe the worst boss encounter of the year for me.
It's a boss rush. It's a boss rush.
It's not that it's a boss.
It'll always F you up when you try to get to the end.
I have 2 major issues with that. Most of the time in Cuphead, when you fail, it does not take you a tremendous amount of time to get back to where you were. And in a game where you're dying a lot, that's the thing that you want, is your next try isn't tedious as hell. That boss is tedious as hell. It's also based on random chance, and until I called Larry up fuming about how done I was with that boss, and he told me the trick to getting the right number every single time, I would get to the end, and it would just be like, fuck you, asshole, and send me all the way back to the beginning. That sucks.
So the worst part about that was the first time I did that level, I got to the end, and I hit that one, and then it puts up a thing like it does for the others when you've cleared them, and then I hit it again and went back to the beginning again, even though it seems like that should have just deactivated it.
Also, that feels like a menagerie of unfinished bosses, to be completely honest with you. That whole section
really
was
like the cigar guy.
There was some good stuff there, but each of those felt like they were ideas they had for much larger, more interesting bosses, and just did not have the time or resources to see that through. And so it was like, okay, well, they're all shorter experiences, and they're in the
top 5 then for Cuphead. Do we have 10 on this list right now, or do we need to?
We need to get rid of one.
It has to be Thimbleweed Park because I've never played it.
I might still be leaning towards Slime Rancher. Thimbleweed, from what I have seen and understand about it, looks more interesting to me than Slime Rancher.
Yeah, actually.
Do we want to just kill the slimes?
Okay, fine.
No, it hurts.
Bye, slimes.
Many Puyos died on this day.
That's good. Fuck Puyos.
Oh, well, okay, yes, but also no, not in the way you're talking about.
What? No, I didn't mean you.
Oh,
You.
yes. Fuck the
You
Puyos.
fucking dumbass. It's
I'm
in your
also-
name too.
I hope
I'm also removing Thimbleweed Park.
it was in yours for a while as well, mister. Wait,
I know.
so Thimbleweed Park takes it to 10? I thought we only had to get rid of one, but...
Well, look. We
Yeah.
still actually have to get rid of one.
Shit. Cook Serve Delicious too. I just,
You're
looking
just
at...
targeting all of my favorites.
I mean... It's either that or Hollow Knight, I think, for me, because looking at the rest of the stuff on this, I feel very comfortable with that making a top 10. Those are the two games where I'm just like, they're... Hollow Knight sounds very good to me. I know Cook Serve Delicious 2 is very good. I don't know if they're better than everything else on the list.
I would take Injustice 2 off.
I could maybe
Personally.
see the argument for that. The thing dragging
Because
Injustice
I
2
think
down for
Tekken
me
7 is better.
Yeah. So my thing is, I think that list could have both of them on, frankly. But for me,
Yeah.
the main thing about Injustice 2 that's working against my enthusiasm for it is there is definitely a loot box problem in that game of just everything is random chance. But
Yeah.
to be
agree.
fair, you do gain items as you level up in addition to earning the credits to buy stuff, and you do still get boxes and equipables like at a fairly decent rate. It's just the random nature of it that is really my hang up with.
The thing about Injustice 2 is like you get ample amounts of loot boxes if you're doing those events and the multiverse and all that stuff. But like at the end of the day, it's just all like it's either cosmetic or if you actually activate the buffs that you get from your
Well,
things,
my
it
understanding is
gets really imbalanced.
a lot of them come with the buffs. There's stuff that is definitely just like here's this item, but it's like a common, and so it is not, good.
You can also
It
just
doesn't give you a
infuse
buff.
them with stats from other stuff if you just like the way it
Yeah.
looks.
So my thing with that is I have mostly just been sticking to multiplayer, and I feel like I have gotten a decent amount of items just from leveling up. Like, I'll beat somebody, I'll be like, you just got like 3 different things to attach to a character. You won the next round, you got like 2 more things to attach to a character. Like, it gives you stuff.
Have
It
you been
gives you a
doing
lot.
those AI team things? Because you can get a ton of boxes from that really fast.
I haven't actually, and I should maybe.
You can get like 5 gold boxes a day or
Yeah.
something.
And that's the thing I'm kind of coming back to with that is the frequency you're getting stuff isn't the issue, it's the random nature of it, which is basically my main problem with loot boxes, period. But I think being so tied to progression in that game, it is more of an issue.
I don't think Tekken 7 has that. I think you can just get whatever.
No, I think Tekken 7 is just like all cosmetic, isn't it?
Yeah, like you can make Akuma look like a fucking loony.
There are items that like, you can put a gun on your back that then you can do a command to pull out and shoot, but they're always really bad, so it doesn't really matter.
So I also saw that you just said Swamp Thing and Hellboy are in it, and again, the Ninja Turtles are coming out for it. The more I think about Injustice 2, the more I think it does deserve to be on the top 10.
Yeah, that's why I put it at 8.
Yeah. I appreciate it, thank you.
Yeah, there's 10
Okay.
things on the list.
The slimes.
Oh
Say you were
god,
welcome.
no. The slimes.
They're dead now.
I think Persona 5 definitely deserves to make the list. That is an insanely good game.
Okay, here's the thing. Let's go around. What are our top 3s? For me, Nier, Yakuza 0, and Mario.
For me, Mario, Nier, Tekken 7.
Top 3 that are on this list, right?
Yes.
Persona 5, Mario, and I honestly probably Injustice 2.
Then that sounds like Mario would be number 1, because at least we all would
I
put it at our top
definitely
3.
yes, I definitely think Mario is number 1. Actually, if it's
the only game
if it's
this
number 1,
year
it maybe
that I've
needs to
come
be
back.
Super Wario Odyssey. Actually, change the name on there.
Wait, what?
If it's number 1, then it's Wario. So it's Super Wario Odyssey. Wario wins again.
Well,
Wario wins all years.
Waluigi #1.
Oh, take it off the list. Take it off.
What does Waluigi say about this?
Why no love for Waluigi?
It's like he's in the room with us.
It's like we're talking with Charles Martinet himself.
Look, I didn't want it to come out this way, but
It's true. I am his son.
Wow.
yeah.
Yep.
The lineage.
Who would have guessed it? My name is Daniel Martinet.
It's so a little bit of clarification. It's not his biological son. I've been growing Charles Martinets in tanks in my basement for a while. Danny's the first one I pulled out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's like Damian Wayne.
yeah, sure.
Okay, there's our number
Especially
one.
like Damian Wayne, because I'm going to go stab him when we're done here.
I'm the winner.
I legit love it.
It's a really good impression.
It really is.
Welcome.
I never would have expected.
You heard his Dr. Robotic, which is pretty good.
I don't remember. Oh wait, yes I do. Okay.
It's top shelf. All right.
Yeah. That one, no. Okay. Do your Ronald Reagan.
My Ronald Reagan?
No. He means, okay, give me one of these games to talk about as Ronald Reagan.
Okay, talk about Nier Automata.
Okay, no, I'm talking about Persona 5. I really like dating Motoko in Persona 5. I'm Ronald Reagan.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Performance of the ages.
Do you want to hear my Tim Allen?
Sure.
Okay, give me a game to talk about as Tim Allen.
Cuphead.
Okay, I'm talking about Persona 5. Oh no.
Riveting.
Regular Rich Little.
Fun fact, when this podcast is done, I'm just going to go into my medicine cabinet and I'm going to take all the pills that I find in there.
Oh no! I'm coughing.
I have been told by Danny that the only impression I actually do well is apparently, why am I blanking on his name? Dude in True Detective. And Interstellar. Matthew McConaughey.
McConaughey.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, well. Yeah, at least I can do Matthew McConaughey.
Like every other person.
Yeah, it's true. Alright.
Yeah, okay. Sure. Alright, so...
Video games.
Yeah. I say Nier should be number 2.
Yeah,
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, actually, if it was up to me, Nier would be number 1. That's my number 1 of the year.
Every time someone explains the structure of Nier to me, I don't like how it sounds. But people really seem to like Nier, so
just play it. It's super good.
He's very hung up by the fact that you play it multiple times, but you're kind of not. You're not doing the same thing every time.
Exactly.
It's really just anytime I hear play the game more than once, I just start to go like, I'm not.
Here's the thing, you play it once, the second time, some things are the same, but there's a lot that's different, and the third time is actually not a third playthrough, it just continues on from the end.
Okay, my other question for you would be how long is Nier? To get what would one would consider to be the full experience?
What?
For what one would consider to be the full experience of Nier, how long would I have to play it? Because something that I've found as I have gotten older is my dropping off points with games keeps getting quicker.
Yeah.
And that is another thing that has kind of hung me up. Like, with Persona 5 is a long game, but I know exactly what I'm getting into with a Persona, and I know I like it. Something like Nier that's more of an unknown quality to me, I just worry I'm going to get so far in and go like, okay, I'm moving on to something else.
I do think Nier is probably too long, but it's not as long as like Persona or something like that. And a lot of it depends on how many of the side quests. At the same time, the side quests are some of the best stuff in it. But some side quests are very good, some side quests are basically a waste of time, and you don't know which they are until you've done it. Yeah.
Look, I'm not gonna talk it down for me. Top 3 is basically what I'm saying, because it sounds like the things that I'm hung up on that game are just personal to me, and it's not a mark against the game.
Also, Nier does stuff that no other game has done.
I mean, I've heard ridiculously good things.
originality.
Yeah, I have heard ridiculously good things about Nier. I have no problem with it being in the top 3 or the top. Put it wherever you want. Basically, like I'm totally cool with wherever you guys feel comfortable placing Nier.
I say number 2.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. This is
I think
weird.
I think among these games, the one that I would feel the most strongly about being number 3 though would be Persona 5. Like
I would say Yakuza 0.
So my thing with Persona 5 is like, not only so putting aside the style and everything of that game, because it's really a talk for most Moxie, even though the style of that game is fucking phenomenal. It brings back something that I really felt should have been a component of Persona 3 and Persona 4, which was actually having a dialogue with the demons that you're trying to get onto your team, and actually fighting those demons like the classic SMT demons instead of just these like more amorphous blob enemies. I really like the themes of that game. I think by the end of it, it starts diving into nationalism in a way that is just as relevant as Wolfenstein 2, and I was not expecting that from my fucking anime RPG.
Mm-hmm.
But it handled it incredibly well. The story in that game, I think, might be my favorite in the series at this point. I think the characters are all very likable. I really like Persona 5. I'm having a hard time pinpointing some big thing I can point to saying, like, this is the precise reason why I like it. I just really like Persona 5. I think top to bottom, it is just a very, very well-made game.
Number 7, then. Okay.
No. Well, 7 has to go to Tekken 7, because 7 is right in the title. And we know it's not Resident Evil 7, so...
Then that must mean Persona 5 is number 5.
Fuck you! No!
Thank you for clearing that up,
hold on a second. That means Yakuza 0 is number 0. It is the best game of all time. All years, every year.
Okay with that.
Shit. That also would mean Wolfenstein 2 is number... Okay, we need to rethink this.
We have to rethink it.
Fucks the whole list up.
I mean, yeah, and Tekken and Resident Evil couldn't both be number 7.
So part of my argument for Persona 5 would be you actually finished that, Larry, and you are not known to finish JRPGs.
I'm in fact known to never finish a JRPG.
Yeah. I think if you actually feel motivated enough to do that, that is a mark in that game's favor, because it takes a lot for you to get through those.
Yeah. I like Persona 5.
Persona 5 is really... Persona 5 has that airsoft store run by that character whose name I forget.
EY.
He's the best. Like, so part of the thing that's difficult about... Like, we have a best story category, do we not?
Best writing.
So part of the problem with talking about what makes a Persona game so good is the writing is so integral to that experience, the characterization, the people that you're interacting with, because like the majority of that game is based on interpersonal relationships. And I think that among any other game I've played this year, Persona 5 went the furthest in getting me to care about its characters. Like as much as I do think that there is a serious argument for Wolfenstein as well. I really care about the characters in that.
Also Nier.
I don't know. But yeah, I'm also not saying Persona 5 is better than Nier.
Nier makes you care about a giant murder robot.
But with Persona specifically, I'm saying that is such a huge part of what makes that game what that game is. Whereas Wolfenstein 2, like, yes, it has a very good story, but it needs to fall back on much more solid, like, first-person shooter gameplay. Persona 5's, like, actual, like, when you're running through the dungeons and everything, I think is fantastic, too. Unlike past Persona games, it's no longer procedurally generated, so you're not just running down the same fucking hallways, except for like one dungeon where they basically did that for some reason.
Which one was that?
Shido's boat.
Oh, yeah.
That level sucked. But
I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about.
So in past Persona games, the dungeons that you went into were entirely procedurally generated. So
Don't want to hear it.
you need to. Because
No.
this is part of my argument for that game, is that its dungeons actually feel a whole hell of a lot better than the last Persona games did.
The old ones were just like hallways.
Exactly. This is not hallways. You're fucking running on chandeliers and shit, and like
It's like you actually have to like go here, find this combination to bring back and move these, like turn these things different colors and whatever.
yeah.
There's actually something to the dungeons instead of just run around and find the exit.
I think the only two times that the dungeons did not feel good at all were Shido's boat, because it just the whole like you turn into a mouse and you have to like go between different rooms and stuff. It sucks.
Oh yeah.
And then at the end, to get the true ending, you have to go through mementos, which is absolutely just procedurally generated. And to get through all of that to get to the end game, like if you were not consistently doing that before, it's a hell of a slog.
Yeah, Mementos, it actually doesn't go that deep, though. It's not nearly as huge as
yes.
Tartarus or
Yeah,
whatever.
it is nowhere near like... Yeah, it's not asking that much. And I think, honestly, the only time that would be a huge issue is if, like, again, you didn't touch Mementos basically at all.
Mementos, the fresh maker.
And I think that Persona 5 iterated upon 3 and 4 in a lot of good ways.
So how about Persona 5 at number 3, Yakuza at number 4?
That is sort of where I'm thinking it needs to be laid out. And Danny, you should really play. It's a damn good.
I'm just so like I just don't like the time investment of JRPG.
It is definitely
Well,
a
you
long
heard
game.
what I said, like, me too. Like, almost every JRPG I never finish. This is one of, I think, 3 total that I've ever actually played all the way through.
Like, I don't know. I will have to try it.
I'll make you an agreement.
Look, unfortunately, I've not had a chance to play it yet. I have sitting here East 8 Lacrimosa of Dana, which I did not put on the list because I haven't played. Apparently, it's very good.
That's a hell of a name.
Yes, it is.
Oh, whatever you just linked in actually seemed to link correctly for me.
But
so 5, 6, and 7 is down to... Do we feel that we want to put Injustice 2, Resident Evil 7, or Wolfenstein 2 above any of these unranked games?
no.
Okay. I would say Tekken 7 is number 5. Because everything I've seen of that game looks insanely good.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like how in the story mode of it, everybody speaks their own languages, and yet everybody just understands each other.
That's pretty
I really like that a lot about it.
Yeah.
I need to get my hands on Tekken 7. That has definitely been like one of the big games for me that I've regretted not being able to.
I think it's on sale on Steam.
I
Probably.
might take a look after this and buy it. Actually, what do you have it on, Larry? PS4?
PS4.
Okay.
Oh shit, it's $25 right now.
Oh, I know what I'm doing after this.
The deluxe edition gets you all the characters, and that's
okay,
$50.
see, I think I need to check Green Man. I made a mistake with Injustice 2.
Yeah.
Turns out it was like, what, $12, $13 cheaper on Green Man, like, after I bought it? Yeah. Anyway, I say Tekken 7 number 5.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
And so my thing with Cuphead is I like the gameplay and all, but I think that the biggest thing going for that game is the style. But I would put it above Hollow Knight. Just on the basis I have not played Hollow Knight.
My issue with Cuphead is that it doesn't really do anything to innovate. Like it's basically just an old style like Contra or Gunstar Heroes or something shoot 'em up with a unique look, and it's good, but
So
that's kind of all it is.
to get back into that just very, very briefly, I think the way that I feel about that sort of thing is if there has been a wide berth from that kind of gameplay to now, and it doesn't really do all that much by the end of the day, I'm okay with that. Like, I haven't played a game like Cuphead for quite a while, and I
Yeah.
really liked Cuphead, even though, like you said, it does not iterate that much. Something like Fire Pro Wrestling, I know we struck it from the list for the same reason as Sonic Mania, but if that game is just those old games and it plays just like that and it's really fun, like I'm way into that. I don't think games necessarily need to innovate all the time. If there's been a gap between something that worked in the past and now, and they just brought it back, like, fuck yeah, sign me up.
I mean,
I feel like it needs to for like main series types of games.
Well, just think about how, like 10 years ago, there were so many 3D platformers, and now there aren't anymore.
Yeah.
And so something like Mario stands out.
I'm sorry, can we talk about a little game called Ukulele?
We will later.
Yeah,
he's
like
going to show up in the Grimmies.
Oh, absolutely. Look, I don't want to get all back into that topic because I think that's a topic that's worth exploring. But I think that the top 10 that we have are very good.
Yes.
I would put Cuphead above Hollow Knight though, because while Cuphead I don't think innovated a whole lot, I got way into Cuphead, and I've not played Hollow Knight. That's my justification for it. Fight my beauties.
I'd say Hollow Knight is better than
A bold statement, considering you have played Cuphead but not have played Hollow Knight.
No.
Yeah.
But cause I look at like all the screenshots of Hollow Knight. I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at it right now. Shut up. But I would say that like Hollow Knight has a lot of things going for it because like it's one of my favorite genres, obviously.
So can I play devil's?
Also,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But like, it's mostly up to Larry's thing because like I love both of them and I really can't decide. But like, Hollow Knight kind of wins for me because it's an actual it's a type of game that I would.
Okay.
I also would say Hollow Knight because it has just more stuff in it.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a second, if you'll permit.
All right, here comes the Al Pacino impression.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh,
video games. Ha-cha-cha. That's my Al Pacino. Okay.
Sounded more like Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, it kind of did.
Basically the same person. So I have, at a lot of times through this process, looked at a game and I have said, I have not played this. I feel more confidently about the games I've played and I'm willing to argue for them more. You and I have played Cuphead, and Larry has played Cuphead. Only one of us has played Hollow Knight.
That's right. It's
good. So, if I want to just play devil's advocate here, I would say 2-1. 2 of us have experience with... 3 of us actually have experience with one of these games versus one person having an experience with one, and somebody else looking up some screenshots on Steam and going like, yeah, it looks cool.
Well, I mean...
Conceptually, it sounds neat. And to be fair, like, I did that with Nier Automata, but also that was, you two have played that, I have not.
Yeah.
And also, keep in mind, I don't feel strongly enough about Cuphead that I honestly care either way. I'm just sort of saying, for the sake of argument, like, more of us have played Cuphead.
I can understand that.
How do you feel, Danny?
To be honest, because like it is true, because like, and then also the thing with Cuphead too that like it has a lot of.
Oh wait, well, there's a Cuphead 2? Oh no!
Wow. Yeah.
Fuck! Start the podcast over.
That was a fast turnaround.
It is a fast turnaround. But like the same with Cuphead, since we all played it, like we all know that like there is a lot going for it too, and like all the boss fights are like.
I like this. It's just
I love how he just
So
fades into oblivion.
I know. I don't know why. I don't know why that happened. But I don't know. Like I feel that Hollow Knight might be the like all around better game,
okay, but
but like at the same time,
feel versus objectivity.
I have but like I've played Cuphead and it's really good. And I like it a lot.
I mean, I'm fine with
Oh.
Cuphead being higher just because you guys have played it.
And like to be honest, the multiplayer on Cuphead that was really fucking fun. So I'm gonna have to say Cuphead.
Do you main Mugman?
I'm main Mugman, man.
No.
I'm a muggy man.
I will say this about Cuphead as well. We did that now playing, and then I offered afterwards, like, do you just want to play all Cuphead with me? And Danny was like, fuck Cuphead! He's like, it's too hard! I'm going to get mad about Cuphead! And look, to be fair, I've gotten mad about Cuphead quite a few times, so...
that was on the recording, though, wasn't it? That was supposed to
no,
be
that was like, that was
roost.
that was right after, where I was just like, hey, do you want to, like, maybe just play this game with me? And you were like, nah, I think I would get really...
I literally thought you were recording still afterwards, and just to
no.
make that kind of funny... God damn it.
It was just joke him up.
Okay. I didn't
It was a choke 'em up, and you fucked it up.
Sometimes I don't understand your references. I'm sorry.
Okay, final list. Number 10.
Super Waluigi Odyssey.
No, number 10. Come on.
Resident Evil 7.
Number
10, Sonic Mania. That's right, it's back on the list. Larry, also, I think your mic failed again. You did a little metallic.
Hello.
Hi, hello.
Hi.
While you were gone, I put Sonic Mania back
10.
on. Okay. Number 10.
Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus.
Number 9.
Resident Evil 7.
Number 8.
Injustice 2, because Swamp Thing and Hellboy are in it.
Number 7.
Hollow Knight.
Number 6.
Cuphead.
Wah! Number 5. Mambo
Tekken
number
7.
5. Ha! Cha cha!
Everyone knows Al Pacino wrote Mambo number 5.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, right. Still me. Number 4.
Yakuza 0.
Number 3.
Persona 5.
Number 2.
Nier Automata.
And Danny, you gotta do number 1.
And number 1.
Super Waluigi Odyssey.
God bless you, Danny.
Yahoo! I
ran out of voices by 5.
Oh, I love it.
I'm the man of 5 voices, as it turns out.
I love it so much.
It's a really good Waluigi.
It really is.
Fuck.
Like, that's not a joke. It's great.
I never have like a good way to use it, you know?
We have given you so many during this podcast.
Tell me about it. Like, I do a good Alan Rickman, and he's dead now.
All right, Alan Rickman, what do you think about Wolfenstein 2?
Oh, I haven't prepared for this. Wolfenstein 2? Oh, no, it's not. I don't know. I can't do it right now.
Alan Rickman, are you suffering from a cold? Alan, I'm losing you. We're losing signal.
A little bit.
Hey, look, it's fine. I did all of my miserable impressions.
We did it. The list is done. It's beautiful.
Yep. That's it.
Oh god, now we have so many more categories to do starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hey, at least they're shorter.
Yes, it won't be nearly as difficult.
No, even the stuff like the Grimmies, like I feel like there's a lot to say about each of those things, but I think the rankings are fairly obvious where that stuff is going to lie, so it gets a bit more easy.
Yep.
I'm still upset that we buried Sonic underground with the Puyos. He's laying on top of the Puyos.
I'm not.
God, and then we bury them, and Samus's gun arm is just sticking up from this shallow grave.
surrounded by hamburgers from Cook Serve Delicious.
A single snowdrop touches the top of her gun arm, and then the credits roll.
You're so you're editing this into the finals, right?
God, I don't have the resources to do any of that.
Sure you do.
I'll just put up
JPEGs.
I'll just put up footage
and...
of iSocket. It'll be fine.
JPEGs.
Oh God.
Hey, it's thematic. Ninja Turtles are coming to Injustice 2. You'll be able to chop their heads off with Damian Wayne.
Just be sure to include
death.
that image of Ernest.
The image, man. Image of Ernest is a really good name for something, and I don't know what.
Image of Ernest would be like a Christian indie rock band from the 90s.
Image of Ernest would be a good documentary name for the Ernest movies.
Image of Ernest would be good for, like, I don't know.
Thank you for your input.
Good input.
All right, well, we will be back next time with the other Golden Gizmo categories, including stuff like Most Moxie, Best Writing, and Best New Character.